Hey there, Sag, and welcome to your March 2020 Creativity Tarot reading. My name is Kayleigh Jean, and welcome to my channel. I record these readings for artists, entrepreneurs, and anybody who's working on their personal growth, self-expression, or spirituality in any form. So if those areas of life are intriguing to you, go ahead and keep listening. You can use these readings for your sun, moon, or your rising sign, and it's also possible sometimes they don't resonate, or what often happens is that they don't resonate in the beginning of the month. So if that's the case for you, I encourage you to be curious and explore the video maybe at the end of March, and you could find that there's some interesting correlations. Okay, Sag. I had a really specific message coming through, and sometimes that's the case. And so if this message doesn't make sense to you, go ahead and just, skip forward to the cards or something. This feels really, really personal for someone. So what I was getting is this impression of someone, one person kind of going like this and looking upward a little bit, and the other person kind of looking at them and sort of leaning back and almost kind of trying to process something. And I actually, as I tuned into this, it started to feel to me like there's possibly somebody coming to you who maybe feels on some level that they've wronged you. And they may be asking for forgiveness or absolution. So that's one potential that could be coming up in March. Maybe somebody coming to you from your past who maybe wants to acknowledge something that went down between you that wasn't necessarily their best version of themselves or that they regret. And they could be wanting to either apologize or absolve themselves or even reconnect with you in some way. So there's that. I also feel that this could potentially be somebody that you were friends with. It doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic thing. It could be somebody that you were friends with, or somebody that you were in business with, or somebody that you've just had some kind of space or distance from in recent months or even years, for a specific reason. Like maybe you sort of avoided that person because of something specific that happened between you. And I feel like this person's now kind of almost coming like full circle and wanting to maybe acknowledge whatever happened between you and also see maybe if they can reconnect with you. The question that I want to ask you, Sag, is if the shoe was on the other foot, how would they react? That's sort of the question that's coming to me, because I think that it's really possible for you as a very, typically a lighthearted, sort of generous and forgiving sign. It's natural for you. It's kind of in your good nature to sort of give people the benefit of the doubt and sort of go with the flow. But I want to ask you really to consider that, if the shoe was on the other foot, how would this person respond to, whatever maybe their transgressions were towards you? If you had done that to them, how would that have played out? And really just, I want to leave that with you, Sag, because I think that if this message is resonating to you, or if someone in particular is coming to mind as you're listening to this and you're thinking, actually, intuitively, I could probably see that person reaching out to me, at some point in the near future. You can just kind of feel that they're sort of wanting to pull on your energy again, or you feel that there's this sort of energetic charge between you and this person still, and it's kind of becoming more active at this time, then just be prepared because that person might reach out to you, and you may feel like you're a little bit put on the spot, or you could just feel like you're asking yourself, well, where would we go from here? Let's say if you decide to forgive them, or maybe you yourself also have some things that you need to apologize for. Where would the relationship or business partnership or friendship go in the future? Is there a future? Is there something that you can gain from this, Sagittarius? Because I don't want to sound crass here, but I think that when this potential scenario comes up for you, you want to be really aligned with your own interests and not feel ashamed about that. like, I feel that because there's potentially some, you know, bad blood between you and this person from the past, or there could be just something, some kind of sacrifice that you ended up having to make, or some kind of wound that occurred for you. I want you to only really consider this option, or consider whatever this potential reconnection may mean. I want you to really consider it from a very self-honoring perspective, because if you don't honor yourself now, it's possible that the individual with which these things occurred in the past may not necessarily even learn what they need to learn about the situation, you know? Like, maybe you could be robbing them a little bit of some self-awareness and some understanding of, you know, what they've put others through, or how their actions have affected other people. And again, I'm not saying that, like, it's so black and white, like you're right and they're wrong. You may have some things that you genuinely feel you need to get off your chest as well, and you might have some things that you need to admit that you feel that you wish you would have done differently, or how you would have handled situations differently perhaps. But I still want you to be really aligned with your own interest, and really unapologetic about that, because you're at this crucial phase in your life, Sagittarius, and we see some of this in the astrology of March, and we'll get into that, I think, as we move through your cards as well. But you are about to take a new path, especially when it comes to your career and when it comes to your creativity and how you express yourself. You're about to take a new path. A new path is opening up for you. And I think that it's really important that you only take with you on this new journey the things that are actually going to be supportive to that journey. You don't want to necessarily carry over unnecessary emotional baggage, unnecessary baggage in any form from things and occurrences in your past, you know? So let's take a look at your cards and we'll get some more information. I'm using the Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot in this reading, so you can check out this deck if you love it as much as I do. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And I have a link in the Show More section for this deck. Sagittarius. Okay. And we're also going to get you a Bob Ross message, because why not? Sagittarius. Here we go. All right, so let's take a look at your reading, Saggy. Oh, wow. So we've got the lion crossed by the elephant. Really beautiful. Oh, I love it. I love it. Love it. Okay. So there's a lot that's coming through already with these cards, but the path card is the lion, and the elephant is the influence. So what I first get is that these creatures are part of the same environment, right? And they're both kind of don't mess with me creatures. You know what I mean? Like an elephant, you don't really try and roll up on an elephant. Like, even lions probably don't, unless they feel really, really secure, you know, they're far outnumber it or whatever. But these are two animals that are basically like, and I'm going to cuss here, Sag, so cover your ears if you don't want to hear it, but I'm going to say these are like, don't fuck with me creatures. And I think that that also says a lot about your energy this month. I think that you're going to be pretty, like, again, like self-honoring. That's like a really good word for you this month, is self-honoring in all of your decisions. And sometimes this is, you know, a really helpful vibration, you know, of like really strong sense of self, that kind of don't mess with me attitude. That can be really liberating, especially if we're like, if in the recent past we have kind of slipped out of that for any reason, like if we've made decisions that we feel retrospectively that maybe weren't necessarily the most self-honoring, this can be a really like a breath of fresh air for you, right? Where you feel super aligned within yourself. You feel proud of yourself and confident in yourself, but not overconfident and not slipping over into ego. So that's one of the things that I think could be like maybe a potential thing to be aware of, but I don't necessarily feel that energy super strong with these cards. I feel like it's more about just having a strong sense of self, which is really important. And with the Lion as your path, again, I feel like this is referring to that energy that came through in the meditation, where if somebody is approaching you from your past and wanting to maybe be involved with you, but there was an element of mistreatment that happened or whatever, the Lion is saying that you can respond to that in a very sovereign way. Like you can almost see yourself as the king or queen of your own life, Sagittarius. And really, like, that is a form of valid perspective of your own life, is if you look at yourself and you treat yourself as, you know, a natural sovereign being within your own existence. You can make decisions from a place of dignity and make decisions from a place of strength, and not kind of bending your will or your morals or your values too much in relation to like whatever's going on around you. It's sort of like you're orienting yourself at the center of your experience in a feeling oriented way, you know. So that means that maybe you don't have to respond right away if somebody approaches you with an offer or asking for you to participate or with something or asking you to reconnect. You have the full authority to say, you know what, I'm going to think on that. And it might be a few weeks, honestly, before I get back to you. And that's totally fine, because if somebody's reaching out to you, they're coming into your territory, Sag. They're coming over to your landscape. You are not pushing over into theirs. It's not like you're like getting in your carriage and rolling up on their property. Like they're coming to you. So it's fair for you to, you know, really be the master of your own house. And I feel like that's really a powerful way to look at things this month, is that you have that sovereignty. The Elephant is a card that's crossing you. So again, fire creature from the same environment, also a very strong creature. And this tells me that there's some good luck coming to you this month. And I feel intuitively as I'm looking at this, because it's kind of a nighttime card. We do have the new moon in Aries on March 24th. And I feel like this is a really good card to illustrate what that energy is going to be like for you. Because, you know, new moons occur when the sun is coupled with the moon in the sky. So we have no way to see the moon because it's traveling with the sun. So we get this sense with this card, there's like a darkness with this card, which is also connected with fire. So of course it's going to draw that symbolism out of this reading, right? Of, you know, we have a dark moon that's in fire, which is enshrined to your sign in your 5th house. So your 5th house is creativity, it's self-expression, it's ingenuity, it's also risk-taking. So you could be feeling this new path opening up for you in your creativity and how you express yourself. At the same time, earlier in March, on March 9th, we have the full moon in Virgo, which is paradoxically in your 10th house of, you know, career and visibility in the world. Full moons tend to represent culminations and things that are sort of coming to maybe a conclusion or reaching a new conclusion in their journey. So it's interesting that you have this like culmination or conclusion or sort of summing up energy in your 10th house earlier in the month, which is much more of a formal house to describe career and ambition and, you know, your standing in the world essentially. That there's an area of culmination. There's either a goal being reached or something being, you know, concluded. And then, you know, when you have this new moon in your 5th house, it's showing there's this new path opening that's sort of risky, or it's sort of dynamic. It's very creative. It's you doing something for yourself, maybe you doing something entrepreneurial, taking on a side business or taking on a new maybe product line within your existing business, but it's based on your creativity, it's based on your ingenuity, and it's definitely something new because it's a new moon. So those are the things I was really feeling from you in the astrology, and the cards already seem to be pointing to that. Let's take a look at your cards. We've got 10 of Pentacles with the Death card. Oh my God, that is so descriptive of that full moon in the 10th, in a very, kind of powerful way, but that's just the first thing that's coming to mind. Ace of Cups and the Tower. We've got Knight of Wands with the 10 of Swords. Wow. With the Star and the Four of Swords. Really interesting reading. This is a very complex reading. I don't want those of you guys who are more aware of the cards or sensitive maybe to the imagery to feel discouraged at all by this spread, because yes, we do see some powerful transformational energies, and we do see some realities that are being faced, but we also see this radical sense of rejuvenation and hope and a newfound clarity arising in your life, which gives you the ability to do things differently and feel free from some circumstances that have been maybe comfortable, but also like in some way holding you back. So the first week of March, we've got the 10 of Pentacles and the Death card. The reason that I laughed when I saw this is because, like I was saying before, full moons represent endings, which the Death card can also represent endings. But with a full moon, it's not necessarily like it doesn't necessarily have to be a harsh ending. It's more like a conclusion or the summing up. It's that sort of part of the story, if you will. It's not necessarily like always associated with an abrupt kind of jolting thing, although you do have the Tower over here, so for some of you there could be that. But in general, in the first week of March, we have the 10 of Pentacles and the Death card, so we can't get around this. I feel like with the 10 of Pentacles, this is a really good card to represent the 10th house, like I was just talking about. They're both 10 cards, right? And the 10 of Pentacles is a card of stability. It's a card of like long-standing financial success. It's a card of comfort when it comes to material things as well. And so there's something maybe that has created some of those feelings for you. Like, and this could also have to do with generational things, like for example, we have this like kind of older father looking figure, and then we have this like young couple, and then we have their child and their dogs, and so we have multiple generations of family represented in this image. So there could be some changes coming through in regards to a family business. I want to say, if you've been employed in a family business for a while, Sagittarius, or if you've been working on something in relation to family that has been for the purposes of securing something that's needed, like resource-wise, either for yourself or for your family. There's something about an ending coming up here that you are, I feel like this is something that you're facing though. I feel like this is something that it's a transition. It's a transition, and I don't want to say that this situation of comfort and security is necessarily going away, because for some of you that may not be the case. It may also be that this situation is going through a radical shift. Maybe somebody else is taking control over it, or you are stepping up and taking control over it, or there's a lot of different ways that this can play out, but there's definitely change. With the Death card, there's definitely an ending or some kind of revolution happening in a situation that was stable in your life. And so that can always bring up feelings of uncertainty, right? But as the energy moves like forward into the second week, which is when we actually do have that full moon in Virgo, the energy turns from kind of practical and outward oriented towards you actually emotionally processing it. Okay, and this is something that I feel is also potentially relating for some of you to your spiritual growth, because for me personally, whenever I see the Ace of Cups and the Tower together, the Ace of Cups is a card of being deeply open, especially even being psychically open, or open to ideas, open to insight, open to messages, open to synchronicity. It's having that vibration of receptivity. And the Tower, with the lightning bolt striking the Tower, also kind of to me represents maybe the actions of a universal spiritual force, in your life. There's a sense of knowledge or power that is bestowed or striking into your life from the heavens. And when we put these cards together, it's like you are open to receiving almost like the word of God. You're like receiving this divine inspiration or this sense of meaning. You know, also when we put these cards together, yes, we can say with the Death card and the Ten of Pentacles, you may be going through some tumult in your personal or your professional life. We do potentially see some big changes going on in that area. But then there's also this energy of profound understanding of the meaning of those events. With the Ace of Cups, we really can't get away from the spiritual component of what is happening in your life. And for you, Sagittarius, you are a sign that is associated with faith and spiritual beliefs and a willingness and an openness to be connected to, I guess I want to say, just the idea of meaning as a profound foundation in your life. Like, you can handle anything when you know what it means for you, when you know why it's happening, even if you don't have somebody outside telling you this is why that and that is happening. You just know it, Sagittarius. You just know it because you see the symbolism in your own life. You see the dots and you connect them with synchronicity, with the messages you're getting maybe from your own readings that you do for yourself. You've got your finger on the pulse, okay, of the divine energy in your life. And so you're not necessarily surprised. I actually see you, even though the Tower can be surprising, I see you with the Ace of Cups. It's like you're ready for it. You're open to it. You're accepting it. You know what's going on some level. You know, there's this almost peacefulness sandwiched between these cards of great change and transformation, getting out of your comfort zone, profound shifts happening in your life, Sagittarius. I do not want to undervalue the profundity of this reading. I don't want to undervalue the fact that you do have the Death card, the Tower, and the Ten of Swords in this reading, but you also have the Ten of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups, and the Star, right? Which are the more passive qualities of spiritual faith and trust, and also actually having what you need on a physical level. So it kind of makes me feel like this month may be profoundly transformational for you in some way, and internally you're going to be feeling that. But you also are going to have everything that you need every step of the way, and you're going to understand on some level why this is happening. So I think it's actually a good thing. I don't see these cards as negative. I see this as simply you embracing kind of like a totally new chapter of your life, and it could even be profoundly inspiring at the same time. Now, with the Knight of Wands and the Ten of Swords, this Knight of Wands is moving away from the Ten of Swords. So I think that there is something that you are, like, it's an illusion, I think, that you're letting go of, and that fiery side of you, the Knight of Wands side of you, may want to like look away from it temporarily, or in that third week you may feel like you are kind of leaving something in the dust. And I don't know that that's like a good or a bad thing. I just think that it is what it is, Sag. It is what it is, and I think that this is going to be something that ultimately you do find a constructive way of like relating to it, and it happens pretty quick. So the third week of March, I almost see you kind of being like, you know what, I'm just gonna book a trip or things are getting kind of weird, things are getting kind of restless at home. I'm just gonna pack up my car and drive a few hours out to, you know, my friend's place at the coast, or, you know, I'm gonna go and take a weekend trip camping on my own, or, you know, something like that. Given obviously, like, if weather permits and all of that, I see you kind of needing to take a break from the situation and do that in whatever way that you, like, I guess, need to, Sag. give yourself full permission to kind of be more mobile in the wake of whatever this is that's going on, because it's very profound and it's very transformational. But again, remember, we have this spiritual trust in this column with the Ace of Cups and the Star. You know why this is happening, and ultimately you are receptive to that. You do know that this is a valuable transition and change for you. So by the end of the month, I see your energy being very thoughtful. I see you feeling very at peace with things. I see you feeling alive and authentic in a new way. I see you also maybe potentially taking a little bit more time off as well. And so by that second half of the month, you know, depending on what your situation is like, Sagittarius, I'm not sure kind of what your responsibilities are. We all have, you know, our things that we're responsible for, but you know, I think that there is something that you can do for yourself that would be either like a trip or some kind of way that you can just take better care of yourself, or maybe get a little bit more leisure time or some time away from something, maybe doing like a social media detox or stepping back from a certain element of your business for a while, or taking a little bit of time off of work. Whatever it is that you can do, Sag, just do that. Because I think that by the end of the month, it's like you gain so much by just being aware and conscious and quiet. You gain so much by resting. You gain so freaking much by giving yourself a break. Okay, so try by that third or fourth week, particularly, I think could be great for just even giving yourself a little bit more time, even just hours in the day. If you can't go on a trip, do a little bit of extra free time things, or maybe you don't need to clean the whole house. Maybe that can wait. Maybe you can just do something fun and enjoyable for yourself instead of trying to keep up with this like rigorous schedule that you may have set up for yourself. Let's take a look at your Bob Ross message. It says, I look forward to seeing you again. Happy painting. God bless, my friend. This feels really, really powerful. I don't know what this is specifically about, but I feel that this is a really important message for someone. I feel like this is spirit, someone in spirit coming through for one of you, or maybe multiple. Maybe it's like a group that want to say this, but I feel like it's this message of like, we will see each other again. It's gonna make me cry. I look forward to seeing you again. Happy painting. God bless, my friend. Yeah, this is somebody looking out for you, Sagittarius. This is somebody who has your back. And I think that this is one of those really magical things that happens in readings where, you know, whoever this is for, and like I said, this could be a message from multiple people in spirit towards multiple people that they love, who they know are going to watch this. But this feels really strong. And I think that this is also like a message of encouragement that if you are going through some big shifts here with the Tower and the Death card and the Ten of Swords, if you feel like you're handling things on your own in ways that you maybe didn't have to in the past, because maybe you had somebody who was with you before who could handle it, and maybe they've passed on, or maybe they, you know, are somewhere else right now. I think that this is a really beautiful reminder that you're not alone, and that this might feel like a hectic or a messy time, or there might be other, even if you're a Sag and you're like, my life is great, I don't have any big changes happening. You know, this could be just a reminder that when there are big changes, And when you have had big changes, you've never been alone in the process of handling them, and everything really is so transient and temporary. So just know that the connections that you have are soul connections, and those are like eternal. But situations that stress us out are incredibly, breathtakingly temporary, Sag. And I feel like this is just a really beautiful way to end the reading. The spirit is kind of coming through and just giving you that. I feel like a hug is coming to you guys. Yeah. So I hope this reading has been helpful, Sagittarius. I think that everything that you're doing right now is spot on. And I feel like especially by the end of March, you're going to be hopefully getting a little bit more rest and feeling really clear within yourself about what you're doing. And you're going to be feeling like your faith is really strong. And that gives you, again, the meaning, which is really the most powerful foundation that you can have in your life is a really strong sense of meaning, So I hope that makes sense. This is a really deep reading, but you're so blessed. And I hope that this reading gives you something useful and powerful as you go through March. Thank you so much for being here, Sag. Please feel free to leave me a comment with a little fire emoji or something like that if you just want to let me know that you're still with me and you enjoyed the reading. Leaving just little comments like that is a great way to say thank you and reciprocate the energy that I put into these readings. If, of course, you happen to feel like some of the messages were for you, that really helps support my channel. It boosts this channel's strength in the algorithm. So if you want to say thank you, but you don't have the ability to donate, that is an amazing way to do it, is to leave comments, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, subscribe to notifications. All of that really helps me to know as well that these readings are helpful to you. And I hope that you have an amazing month in March. I'll put the donate link below if you feel called to donate. Even just $1 is super awesome. And take care of yourselves, Sag. I'm sending you so much love, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.